Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and today I want to take a look at the spec that has probably been given the least amount of love by Blizzard, in my opinion, which is Fury Warrior. Originally, Fury Warrior started out really strong in the alpha of the game, and as the beta continued with a few buffs and nerfs, it's gotten worse. It's basically almost unplayable for PvP. There's really no reason for you to play Fury in most cases if you are trying to be competitive, because Arms is a better spec in more ways than one. Not only is Arms just simply better in terms of like utility, damage is a bit easier to line up, good artifact weapon, great defensives, it's just Fury's main mechanic is broken for PvP. Like, it just does not work together. So I want to take a time to look at Fury Warriors and discuss what is wrong with them. So when we take a look at Fury Warriors from the bat, we can take a look just from stats alone. Their mastery. Their mastery is the meat and bones of their damage and how they're supposed to be played. Mastery, where increases damage done while in rage. For the longest time, Fury has always been this burst spec that relied on Enrage in order to be able to deal damage. But ever since Legion, they gave it a weird effect, and I'm actually redo one of the talents to showcase you guys more what Fury is all about. When we take a look at the Enrage, it now reads Bloodthirst critical strikes will enrage you for Bloodthirst critical strikes will enrage you, increasing your attack speed by 100% and the damage you take by 30. That part where it says the damage you take by 30 basically makes you a kill target in PvP. 30% damage increase? For some classes that's basically burst. So as a Fury Warrior, you make it so that other classes deal 30% more damage to you when you're going through your main mechanic. So you have 4 abilities as Fury. You have Bloodthirst, which is your main cooldown ability, just spam it. And every time you hit Bloodthirst, you have a chance to gain Enrage. When you don't have Enrage, you have Furious Slash. And as you stack Furious Slash, it doesn't deal that much damage, but you stack it, so then your Bloodthirst has a higher chance to crit. And if you stack it up to 6, 90% chance to crit. When Bloodthirst crits, you have access to Rage and Blow, which you can use while enraged. Rage and Blow generates rage, Bloodthirst generates rage, so the question would be, what spends rage? So as a Fury Warrior, you basically Furious Slash, Bloodthirst, and if you get Rage and Blow procs, then you're able to, from Enrage, build up your rage. And now that I'm almost at full rage, the only ability that spends rage is Rampage. And Rampage reads, enrages you and unleashes a series of brutal strikes over 2 seconds for a total of 144k physical damage. Rampage is one of your best abilities in the game, and it deals the most amount of damage. It is a necessity for your rotation in order to be able to dish out sustained damage to a target. So as a Fury Warrior, you only have 2 abilities that put you in Enrage. You have Bloodthirst, which has a chance to enrage you, which you need in order to deal in PvP situations. It will be 30% increased damage because of stat templates. But in PvP, every time you are enraged in order to deal damage, you take damage. So it's basically a spec that's very suicidal. Every bit of its playstyle, every bit of its mechanic is basically masochistic. And I feel like the issue is with its overall class design. For PvE, this is probably one of the coolest specs ever, with an interesting rotation where you build Rage and use the abilities of Bloodthirst, Furious Slash, and Rage and Blow as you build, and then you unleash all that rage with Rampage. But for PvP, this mechanic that puts you in Enrage literally destroys you as a Fury Warrior. Warpaint, that's your only defensive against taking more damage. You now take 20% increased damage instead of Enrage. 20% increased damage is basically Plunder Armor for Outlaw Rogues that is still burst. Let's take a look at the artifact weapon. Every time you enrage, you get more health. Okay, that's fine. Maybe Fury Warriors are known for their healing. They nerfed the heals a while after. At first, Fury Warriors were able to take a lot of damage, but they were also able to heal for a ton. And since beta, they nerfed the healing of Fury Warriors altogether. So no longer do you heal for a ton while taking a ton of damage while dishing out a lot of damage. Now you heal for moderate, you deal damage for a moderate amount, but you still take that increased damage from Enrage. And I feel like the Enrage effect where you take damage could be a simple remove from the game. Because of that effect, Fury Warriors are more likely to die. Because of that effect, Arms Warriors is just a better spec. Even your defensives are just different on both specs. Oh, maybe you're supposed to use Enrage Regeneration to counteract Enrage. Let's say, Enrage puts you on a regular basis to 30% increased damage. But if you counter it with Enrage Regeneration, a 2-minute cooldown the last 8 seconds, you don't take the bonus damage. What a defensive. Your defensive means you don't take bonus damage. A defensive normal would be to take less damage, to defend yourself up. and it's just such a broken mechanic, and I'm hoping you guys can see like things that just don't make sense for Fury Warriors. I feel like there's definitely an issue, and I kind of just want to make a call to arms for Blizzard to, hey, please take a second look at the spec. It could be better, but it's literally the worst spec in the game for PvP right now. Maybe Arcane Mage might be worse, but even Arcane Mage can be viable in duels. This spec literally sucks at PvP in general. It just, you could play Fury, or you could play Arms, which isn't punishing, and Fury is just such a punishing spec right now. But this is I want to say, guys, what are your thoughts on Fury and all the changes that went through Legion? If you are playing a Fury Warrior, what are your thoughts on these changes, and how do you feel about all this? I feel like we could make Legion better, and one of the ways we could do it by fixing all the specs to make everything viable and playable, so we'll have a lot more variety and a lot more competition out in the game. Instead of having like some specs that are like so much work being put in the game, but certain specs are just simply overlooked and they're just bad. And that's really all I have to say. What are your thoughts on this, guys? Let me know. Enjoy the arenas. Sorry if this video was a bit too serious, but I just really wanted to address it because it is a little bit ridiculous when you take a look at Fury and to see just in how bad of a state they are. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I feel your